This is Ogtv News. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Bukola Agbakisu. On the news, President Buhari inaugurates an NPC board, charges members on transparency, accountability. Governor Abiodun promises to ensure APC remains foremost political party in Ogun State. Ebonyi State Governor suspends Principal Secretary over dereliction of duty. Kazakh President orders security forces to shoot at sites as protests escalate. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
And coming up on the business segment of the news, Nigeria to lose investment on sweetened beverages due to 10 naira litre tax imposition. Details of this and more when I return. My name is Okpeyemi Adamu. Stay with us.
And coming up from the world of sport, Egypt delayed flight to Cameroon after COVID-19 cases. Details of this and more stories later on the sports segment of the news. I'm Emmanuel Dasaldo. Do stay with us.
Now the details of the news. We are starting with politics. President Muhammadu Buhari and governors of the All Progressives Congress, APC, will meet on Sunday to decide a definite date for the conduct of the party's national convention. The party is hoping that a date in February is still visible as it has come under pressure from the president to clean up his act or cede power to the main opposition. Chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, who met with the president at the presidential villa Abuja, told correspondents that the Sunday meeting will center on the proposed date for the convention. He said President Buhari's admonition to the party that it risks losing power to the People's Democratic Party (PDP) is a signal for the party to have a seamless convention so that it will not disintegrate. Lalong said the governors have now given the president the assurance that the convention will hold in February. According to him, the president's warning is for the party to redouble its efforts and do the right thing. Meanwhile, the leadership of the National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress (APC) has disclosed that efforts are being undertaken by the party to seek ways of bringing all aggrieved members of the party together in preparation for the 2023 general elections. The chairman of the Reconciliation Committee and former governor of Nasarawa State, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, made this known when he led members of the committee on a courtesy visit to the Ogun State Governor, Prince DAPO ABIODUN, at the Presidential Lodge in Abeokuta. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiel reports.
They are members of the National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, led by Senator Abdullahi Adamu, who have come on a courtesy visit to formally inform the governor of Ogun State, Prince DAPO ABIODUN, of their presence in the state, while also commending him for the landmark changes which were taking place in the state. Governor DAPO ABIODUN said the ruling party, both at the state and national levels, has continued to make progress in its efforts at reconciling members on issues during the various congresses held last year.
So it is indeed a very noble idea and also one that is very needful, that we continue to find ways and means to ensure that we have peace and harmony within our party. Naturally, the party such as this, where we have a meeting of great minds, there will be issues of diversity that will create conflicts amongst us. But we must continue to find ways to reconcile our differences, because in that, or in doing that, would lie our strength.
The chairman of the committee therefore assured the governor that the committee will ensure all petitions and existing challenges that would be forwarded to the committee would be judiciously deliberated on, while a lasting solution will be preferred to promote the unity of the party.
And that underpins the concern of the APC to ensure that this state enjoys peace, the government enjoys stability, and anything that will divert the attention of this administration, we must ensure that we avoid it. And one way to do it through this assignment that were given. Were there any clutches, areas of concern in the relationship between our major stakeholders? It is our hope and prayer that through the effort of this committee, we will be able to overcome by the grace of God.
Also speaking, the national leader of the party and former governor of Ogun State, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, commended the leadership of the party for the steps taken to reconcile members while urging them to be fair and just.
I'm comfortable, I'm happy. All I will say is that we are sure that with these highly experienced people, equity and justice and fairness will be done.
Governor Abiodun thereafter appreciated the national leadership of the Caretaker Extraordinary Committee led by Yobe State Governor Mai Balabuni for selecting members of the committee who, according to him, are tested and trusted, adding that he believes that the outcome of the reconciliation will be just and fair. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
And still talking politics, as the 2023 general elections is fast approaching, the Ogun State Governor, Prince DAPO Abiodun, said the current administration is working hard to ensure that the All Progressives Congress (APC) remains the foremost political party in the state. Governor Abiodun made the submission while fielding questions from journalists after a closed-door meeting with members of the party from 10 wards in Ikenne local government area held at his country home in Ikperoremo. Governor's office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu once again has details in this package.
Governor Prince DAPO Abiodun joined All Progressives Congress party stalwarts in Ikenne local government area to further deliberate on the progress of the ruling party, particularly as the 2023 general election draws nearer. The governor, who described the party as an embodiment of people of high pedigree, informed that similar meetings will be held in all the 20 local governments in the 3 senatorial districts across the state to sensitize and educate members about the importance of the election, pointing out that members of other political parties have pitched their tent, with APC having seen the tremendous developments recorded in every sector of the state.
Meetings are like the tonic for politicians, so I would like to encourage them to ensure that meetings begin to hold, and that also the political appointees should also be responsible and ensure that those meetings are being funded from their allowances. So everybody has pledged a certain amount of their paychecks towards the successful hosting of such meetings at various levels.
The governor later received large number of members of People's Democratic Party (PDP) from Ikenne local government area led by its chairman, Mr. Ayedu Shoyombo, who decammed to the All Progressives Congress (APC) in order to be part of the development agenda of the current administration.
The party continues to grow larger and larger every day. You recall that in 2020 we received members of the ADC, and later on in 2021 we received members of PDP. Today again we're receiving PDP members. So we did that, and also we did some housekeeping issues, reconciliation amongst leaders, and also infighting is not uncommon amongst those politicians. For as long as people are working together, they must have a few issues among themselves. So it's been a very wonderful occasion. Everybody's happy. The party is bigger, the party is stronger, and we are going to forge ahead even better united as one party.
Mr. Shoyombo said the feat achieved with the share mantra of the current administration is the reason for joining the train to build the future of the state together. The governor would thank the party members for their support and understanding since the inception of the current administration, submitted that all the political appointees have been directed to go back to their various wards as part of the efforts of achieving peace and harmony among the party members, stating that the party is poised to embark on membership drive to increase its numerical strength across the state. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
Away from politics, in commemoration of this year's Armed Forces Remembrance celebration, the Ogun State Governor, Prince DAPO Abiodun, has commended past and present military personnel who have in one way or the other contributed to the peace and development of the nation. The governor gave the commendation during the special Jumat service held in honor of the fallen heroes held at the Central Mosque, Kobiti, Abeokuta. Adebola Oshomoji reports.
The armed forces play crucial roles in ensuring the sovereignty of the Nigerian nation. The annual Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration remains a wake-up call on the citizenry to appreciate the sacrifices made by servicemen. To this end, a special Jumat service was held at the Central Mosque, Kobiti, Abeokuta, to mark this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Governor of Ogun State, Prince DAPO ABIODUN, who was represented by his deputy, Engineer Noimot Salako Oyedele, noted that the fallen heroes and those wounded while fighting Nigeria's noble cause must be remembered at all times.
We all know that the peace we enjoy today is a result of the sacrifice of our previous leaders and also of our servicemen and women who have laid down their lives for the integrity of this country. And we have to continue to remind ourselves of what has gone past, to serve as a remembrance of those who have lost and to honor them, but also to admonish us on the way forward.
Governor Abiodun therefore reassured people of the state of the continued effort of his administration at improving the security architecture of the state.
We know that insecurity is bred by hopelessness and the fear of the unseen and the fear of the future. And that is why His Excellency has put in place policies to make sure that we put our state in a way that we can improve the socio-economic well-being of all our citizens.
In his welcome address, Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Wahid Odushile, described the Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration as worthwhile, urging the citizens to always toe the path of peace and stand for the oneness of the country.
And we owe it a duty to them and the country to ensure that Nigeria remains a united entity, so that, like in the words of our national anthem, the labors of our heroes past shall not be in vain.
The Mufassir of Egbaland, Sheikh Taufik Amolegbe, in his sermon established the duties and doggedness of the armed forces in defending the nation's unity to the point of death.
Nigerian armed forces is always at the forefront of peacekeeping, and their efforts have brought about the decrease in banditry attacks that are hindering the peace of the nation.
The royal fathers present at the occasion, led by the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, while commending the government for its efforts at ensuring that their benefits are received as and when due, enjoined people to continue to remember those who protect and bring peace to the nation.
Our fallen heroes deserve to be remembered every day for their act of selflessness and sacrifice.
Prayers were offered for Ogun State and Nigeria in general. Adebola Oshomuji, Ogtv News.
Meanwhile, activities marking this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration will continue with an interdenominational church service on Sunday, 9th January 2022 at the Cathedral Church of St. Peter, Abeokuta at 10 in the morning. The grand finale is scheduled for Saturday, 15th January 2022 at the Arcade Ground, Okemoson, Abeokuta at 10 in the morning, with special parade by the armed forces and the police, as well as laying of wreath in honor of the fallen heroes. All invited guests and top government functionaries and other stakeholders are expected to be seated 30 minutes before the commencement of the outlined event with strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols. And still to come in the news, President Buhari inaugurates NNPC board, demands transparency, accountability. Join us for these and other stories after this time out. Don't go away. You're still watching Ogtv Main News. Thanks so much for joining us in part 2 of the news. The newly appointed Board of Directors of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari with a charge to members to be mindful of the nation's commitment to a next carbon zero aspirations by the year 2060. The president who performed the ceremony also expects the company to ensure total alliance with the global energy transition realities. Administration of the Board of Directors of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited was in furtherance of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act, which seeks to make Nigeria petroleum industry commercially viable and competitive in line with global business dynamics and best practices and in fulfillment of the legal and regulatory requirements. President Muhammadu Buhari said NNPC Limited should also focus on profitability and continued value creation, as well as protect national oil and gas access and interest.
In the ongoing transition to a more viable petroleum and energy industry that will attract investment to support our economic growth and generate employment to millions of our people. NNPC Limited is expected to strictly adhere to corporate governance principles that place premium on doing business with the highest ethical standards, integrity, and transparency.
Appreciating the National Assembly for seamlessly supporting efforts at achieving the viable and accountable energy industry, the President insists on full alignment and synergy with NNPC Limited, the Upstream Regulatory Commission, as well as the Mainstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority towards delivering the reforms of business for the petroleum sector.
To operate at par with its industry peers elsewhere in the world, while acting as an enabler company that will foster the development of other sectors of our economy. I will count on the professional insights and ethical conduct of the board members to ensure the delivery of our promises to Nigerians.
This is history in making, because this is the first time any president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be inaugurating an independent board of an independent NNPC Limited.
Great Chuba Okadibo, who chaired the NNPC Limited board on behalf of the members, appreciated the president for the confidence reposed in them and promised to live above board in the discharge of their responsibilities.
And to mature it. Indeed, it is a Herculean task. But if you look around, you can see I'm flanked by able men and women, and we will deliver.
I want to assure you that the process of implementing the PIA is fully on course. Mr. President also appointed the other members of the Upstream Regulatory Commission and the Midstream and Downstream Commissions. They too will come on board very soon. And then, of course, this segment of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act would have been completed.
The inauguration of the NNPC board is yet another important step in Nigeria's quest to building a better petroleum industry. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Mr. Ayodeji Ariyogbeleyi as the chairman of the board of directors of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The appointment was announced in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, in Abuja. According to the statement, Gbeleyi replaced Chief Adewale Adesoji Adeyo, who passed on recently, a chartered accountant and associate of the Chartered Institute of Taxation. Gbeleyi is a well-known financial expert who was once the Commissioner for Finance and Lagos State, as well as a player in the aviation sector. Ogun State government has described the Old Students Association as an important stakeholder in the education sector that would help drive the strategies in achieving academic excellence. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, made a declaration during a meeting with representatives of Old Students Association across the state. He applauded them for always striving to better the lot of the alma mater without expecting anything in return. The commissioner revealed that the present administration has not been resting on its oars to make education a priority, hence the introduction of the Education Intervention Fund that will be used for annual maintenance of schools in the state. Arigbabu therefore solicited for continued support and commitment of the association to restore the standard of education by putting in place workable solutions to tackle the decay in the sector.
We are going to create a platform. The platform where we have all old students associations in Ogun State, known to us in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, and then we continue to relate with you and we get directly at you. On that platform, we will be discussing issues. We will be discussing issues that are peculiar to schools. We will be discussing issues that are general to schools. We will be coming up with positions.
In the remarks, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Primary and Secondary Education, Mrs. Ronke Shoyombo, and her counterparts in the Technical and Vocational Education Board, Professor Joseph Odemuyiwa, described the association as the pillar that has been supporting government through building, rehabilitating, providing needed equipment and facilities needed in the schools. They admonished them to support the learners through career and moral talks that would help their academic growth. In a welcome address, the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Abosade Ogunleye, said Old Students Association have helped in no small measure to the infrastructure development of the alma mater and called for more collaboration to nip the acts of indiscipline in the board. Speaking on behalf of the association, Chief Sunday Odunton, President General Abeokuta Grammar School, and Mr. Samson Kayode Idowu of Alamuwa Grammar School, Adodo, lauded government for the initiative, promising that they would not relent in collaborating with government to bring about all-round development to their schools. Community media and other platforms must ensure objectivity, truthfulness, openness, reliability, and fairness in its reportage and programs, as the role of media in nation building cannot be overemphasized. This was one of the recommendations of Princess Iyabo Odulate, former head of service in Ogun State and present Commissioner for Ogun and Lagos States Federal Civil Service, Abuja, during the 16th anniversary and award night of Gateway News Updates established by evangelist Tunde Omolaolu. Margaret Okunlola has the details.
Gateway News Update is a newspaper media outlet established to bridge communication gap between the urban and grassroots with intentions to showcase Ogun and its people in all human endeavors. To celebrate its 16th year anniversary, the newspaper outlet held its annual award program targeted at acknowledging meritorious service and outstanding performances through media publication. Former head of service in Ogun State and present Commissioner for Ogun and Lagos Federal Civil Service, Abuja, who was the guest lecturer, Princess Iyabo Odulate, in a lecture titled Role of Community Media for Effective Civil Service and Nation Building, emphasized the need to enhance professionalism in community media.
The most important recommendation to me is that community media, and in fact all the other media, must ensure objectivity, truthfulness, openness, reliability, fairness in their reporting and programs. In other words, the media must endeavor to report the truth without undue misrepresentation of facts.
The publisher and editor-in-chief, Gateway News Update, Evangelist Tunde Omolaolu, assured that all lines are on deck to ensure professionalism.
We'll be looking forward for more positive developmental journalism in terms of community reportorial. And we're going to be showcasing our people in good light and in every human endeavor positively, constructive, not destructively.
The event featured award presentation to individuals and corporate organizations, which included Ogtv in recognition of their outstanding performances and launching of a book as well as drama presentation. Margaret Okunlola, Ogtv News.
The National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress APC has promised to apply the principles of fairness, equity, and justice in reconciling aggrieved members of the party in Ogun State. The chairman of the committee, who was the former governor of Nasarawa State, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, while addressing party faithful in the state, submitted that the reason behind the visit of the committee to Ogun State was to ensure that there is peace and unity in the party in order to allow members form a common front for the progress of the party.
We want to be sure that we're just. We want to be sure that those who are crying, we give them cause to stop crying. We want to be sure that those who are on this side of government and party, you are magnanimous. You have to have listening ears, because in unity lies strength. And no matter how strong an individual is, where the greater majority of the people are, they're bound to be stronger.
Governor DAPO ABIODUN and the state chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Yemi Shanusi, believe that the presence of the committee in the Gateway State will no doubt bring about peace in the party.
It's about equity and our justice, which is our motto. We stand by what we call good governance. In good governance, we say we pledge to be just, to be fair, to be equitable, to be responsive, to be inclusive, to be participatory, to be accountable, and above all, to obey the rule of law. Is that not correct? So we will not deviate, we will continue to remain focused.
Prince DAPO ABIODUN and other two former governors in the state, Chief Olusegun Oshoba and Otumba Gbenga Daniel, as well as some political gladiators, thereafter went into a consultative session with the committee. And from Ebonyi State, the state governor, David Umahi, has suspended his principal secretary, Emmanuel Obasi, for 1 month over the relinquishment of duty. The suspension is contained in a statement signed by the secretary to the state government, Dr. Kenneth Ugbala. In the statement, Umahi directed that the suspension was with immediate effect. The statement directed Obasi to hand over all government property in his possession to the secretary to the state government before the close of work on Friday, January 7. The SKIT-making industry in Nigeria and in Africa is turning out to be a lucrative venture. It is appearing with time that so many millionaires and billionaires will come out of the industry. Glimpses this week takes a look at the rise of an industry that is turning out to be a gold mine.
They are raw entertainers who employ distinct social media platforms to educate and inform Nigerians using the vehicle of entertainment. In Nigeria, they are called Instagram or YouTube influencers, but some prefer to call them skit artists. Nigerian skit industry blossomed with many creative minds coming up with creative contents in skits that have now caught the attention and admiration of many. Skit makers deliver heavy messages through witty vehicles which are relevant to daily lives. They are outnumbered when they began, but the number kept increasing daily, as many of them, due to the unemployment situation in the country, developed a talent through that and makes something good out of it. A survey carried out by Nairametrics showed that several people are drawn to good comedy skits on the video blogging platform for the momentary relaxation they bring and the sense of community that these videos project. Mark Angel Comedy, the home of comedy skits, is one of the popular comedy pages on social media, and our YouTube channel was the first African comedy channel to reach 1 million subscribers. His page consists of a series of YouTube comedy shorts that feature a number of people from Angel's family and neighborhoods in Port Harcourt.
You cooking interview.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Sorry. Madam.
Stupid driver.
Mr. Macaroni has been featured in a number of movies and soap operas before starting the Mr. Macaroni series. With over 400,000 subscribers, he creates comedy skits wearing a dark red agbada. His videos have garnered over 84 million views, and he has many catchphrases that have been adopted by Nigerians. "You are doing well" is one of his most popular punchlines.
Put your account number. Let me make your account balance fit. Because right now I think it's lacking vitamin freaking. Suffering from Sakpa. I just sent you 400,000.
How do you want it?
Abeokuta Adedoyin Miriam, popularly known as Tahoma, is another. She wears many shoes as a skit maker and content creator. In her popular skits, which has endeared her to many with a large following of 751,000 on Instagram and 183,000 on Twitter.
What's going on? Where's your mom? Baby, no, stop. You're exaggerating. It's not that much now.
Michael Sonny Amanesi, popularly known as MC Lively, a lawyer with over 500,000 followers on Instagram. MC Lively has carved a niche for himself with his comedy skits that usually address current issues in Nigeria.
You said you're a lawyer?
Yes, I'm a lawyer.
Nice. I've always wanted to ask a lawyer this. What's your thoughts on jactitation of marriage in Nigeria?
Another from Ibadan is MC Remote. They have all made a name for themselves.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Up next is business news.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said that the introduction of excise duty of 10 naira per litre on all non-alcoholic carbonated and sweetened beverages will make Nigeria lose investments to other countries. The Director General, Mr. Segun Ajayi Kadri, said in a statement that the affected subsector had contributed significantly to the economy and taxes despite the depleting impact of naira devaluation, inadequacy of forex, and the COVID-19 pandemic. According to him, recent studies have shown that introducing XR on non-alcoholic beverages is likely to cause a 0.43% contraction in output and about 40% drop in total industry revenue in the next 5 years. The food and beverage subsector contributed the highest of the total manufacturing sector to the GDP. It comprises 22.5% of manufacturing jobs and generates more than 1.5 million jobs. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, had on Wednesday announced the introduction of the new tax during the public presentation of the 2022 budget in Abuja. The federal government has disclosed plans to increase the mineral sector contribution to the economy by growing revenue generated from mining to 9.28 billion naira by 2025. Figures contained in the National Development Plan show that the mining sector is currently generating about 2.3 billion naira. The new target implies that the federal government intends to increase revenue generated by the sector by 308% in 4 years. The government in the document said that part of its 2025 vision is to foster an investment-friendly mineral sector that is well managed with transparent collection of revenues and good governance. It noted that establishing a sustainable mining sector that is inclusive of artisanal mining, environmentally friendly and socially responsible will enhance Nigerians' mineral attractiveness to exploration and mining investors, adding that the sector could improve rural livelihoods and stimulate job creations while promoting inclusive economic growth. There are also plans to create 144,000 jobs in the sector by 2025, according to the NDP. The National Pension Commission has announced an additional release of 31.97 billion naira by the federal government for the payment of accrued pension rights to 2021 retirees. This is coming after the release of the sum of 16.67 billion naira on December 29, 2020, bringing the total amount released for payment of the 2021 pensions rights to 48.64 billion naira. The payment is for retirees of Treasury-funded ministries, departments, and agencies' payment to the verified and enrolled retirees up to December 2020. The Commission has commenced processing the payment, which will begin to each retiree's retirement savings accounts domiciled with pensions fund administrators by month end. The National Bureau of Statistics on Friday said the total value of capital importation into Nigeria was $1.7 billion in third quarter of 2021. It rose by 97.73% from the $875.62 million of the preceding quarter. The total value of capital importation into Nigeria in the third quarter of 2021 stood at $1.731 billion from $875.62 million in the preceding quarter of 2021. There was an increase of 97.73% when compared to the corresponding quarter of 2020. This is according to the Bureau document titled Nigerian Capital Importation Quarter 3. The Bureau noted that the largest amount of capital importation by type was received through portfolio investment. It accounted for 70.30% of the total capital importation. And finally, the federal government spent $1.68 billion on food importation from January to September last year. The Central Bank of Nigeria disclosed this in a report on sectoral utilization of foreign exchange for the third quarter of 2021. According to the CBN, the government spent $163.60 million in January, $197.73 million in February, and $171.05 million in March, while $156.30 million, $135.72 million, and $213.58 million were spent in April, May, and June in that order. The report revealed that over $643 million was expended between July and September. During the Bankers Committee retreat in Lagos recently, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said Nigeria could produce enough to feed its citizens. He said the government was ensuring the diversification of the economy. And that brings us to the end of the business segment of the news. It is back to Bukola.
Thank you, Okwe. Now foreign news. Kazakhstan's president has ordered security forces to shoot to kill without warning as unrest continues in the tightly controlled Central Asian state, and dozens of senior Hong Kong officials and politicians were ordered into quarantine on Friday after health officials discovered a second preliminary coronavirus case at a birthday party attended by many of the city political elites. Elsewhere, the key to the prison cell on Robben Island, once occupied by Nelson Mandela, is going to be returned to South Africa rather than to be auctioned in the US. Details of this and more on the world today.
Kazakhstan's president has ordered